antics, welcome to my channel. I hope you are well today because we have another crafty project to have a go at. In this week's video we are going all things macrame and making these beautiful macrame feathers that are dip dyed to give them a really nice colourful twist. Now macrame is a really easy craft and it has been a traditional craft that has gone alongside weaving and knitting, but it uses a different technique of knotting to create the textiles. Now you can create lots of different things in macrame, including wall art like these hanging feathers, to more functional pieces like a shopping bag, a hanging basket for your fruit, or even a plant hanger. Possibilities are endless with macrame. As long as you get the knots right, you can make anything you like out of macrame. Now, it was very popular hundreds of years ago, fell out of favour a little bit and came back full force in the 70s, which is probably where I know it more from. Not that I was born in the 70s, but I know that 70s boho decor was a lot of macrame. That dipped again in popularity and has resurfaced once again in the modern age to give a bit more of a modern twist to the traditional craft. So if you would like to see how to make your own macrame feathers and dip dyeing them, then let's get crafting. To make the macrame feathers, you are going to need 3mm macrame cord, a ruler or a measuring tape, some sharp scissors, a pet comb or normal hair comb, and your chosen fabric dye. First, you are going to need to measure out your macrame cord. So for the first measurement, you want to measure to 20 centimeters and then fold your cord in half and cut at the end. So in total, this will be a 40 centimeter piece, and this will act as the stalk for the feather. And then you want to measure out 20 more pieces of macrame cord, measuring at 20 centimeters long, and these will form the arm part of the feather. This amount will give you enough macrame cord for one feather, so you might want to cut more if you want to make a pair or triple feathers. There are two basic macrame knots that can be used to make these macrame feathers, with the first one being the reverse lark's head knot. Now this is most commonly used as a way of mounting cords onto either a piece of doweling or another horizontal cord like we are doing here. So you want to take the 40 centimeter piece of cord folded in half so it has a loop, and then take a 20 centimeter piece of cord and fold that in half as well so there is a loop at the end. Then you want to place this loop over that middle stalk part of the feather and bring the ends through that loop that has just been created to secure it to the middle part, pulling it tightly so it is secure. For a really pretty effect to the feather and to stage sort of the arm part of it, you can create these reverse lark head knots in the opposite direction so that the knots face out the tails in opposite directions, but in the middle you will see the two knots do alternate and it gives a bit of a pattern down the middle of the feather. Another knot that can be used to make these macrame feathers is a square knot, which is probably one of the most commonly used macrame knots out there. Now there are different variations to this, and a square knot will be formed differently on a wall hanging, but for the macrame feather you just want to take two of those 20 centimeter pieces and fold them in half so that they are looped. Then you want to place one underneath the middle cord and one over the top of the middle cord in opposite directions, so there's loops on either side. Then with the tailing ends you want to bring the ends through the loop on each side and then pulling it like you would a bow so it secures the knot in place. Now make sure you do pull tightly and you secure it to the middle because they do slide about and you don't want them coming off the end of your feather, and just keep going until you have used all of your cords up. Now it doesn't matter which knot you use, you can alternate between the two that I've shown you here or just use one that you find the easiest to do, but it is good to have a bit of a practice with each of these knots. To finish the feather knot, you are going to need to knot the 2 trailing ends from the middle cord, and to do this you are going to do an overhand knot, which is a basic knot like you would do when you are starting to tie a shoelace. So you just want to take both ends of the cord, tie them together and double knot it. Once all of the cords have been added, the feather should be taking shape, but you still need to give it that bit of feathery definition. And to do this, you are going to need to do a bit of fraying and fringing to the macrame cord. So to do this, what you want to do initially is unwind all of those individual pieces of cord that are coming out of the middle. This will just help loosen the fibres slightly. And then you are going to want to fray them further by using a pet comb or a fine toothed comb. Now what I found was I needed both of these, so I used a pet comb initially just to get out some of those harder knots that are in the fibres, and then the finer tooth comb to really give it that fringed and fluffed out detail. You may notice when you are using a finer comb that you will get a bit more shedding of the macrame cord, and it will get a lot of lint or fluff coming out of it. This is completely normal, it's just because you are really teasing that cord. So just remove any of that excess fluff that may be coming out. And finally, you just want to brush those frayed cords downwards like you would expect a feather shape to be, and then using some sharp scissors just taper these ends so that they either go up curved diagonally or a straight diagonally. It's however you want your feather, but trim them edges so that the ends are more equal to each other, and then your feather is ready. Now you can leave it at this part if you so wish and want to keep it more neutral, or you can keep watching and see how to dip dye the feathers for a more colourful look. First, you want to start out by dampening your macrame feathers in some lukewarm water. Now you don't want them sopping wet, but you do want them a bit damp, and this will help the dye stick to the fibres of the macrame cord. And then you want to mix up your fabric dye according to the instructions on the packet. I am mixing these in some takeaway cartons, and I've only used about half of each packet. Then you want to dip your feather into the first colour, and my first colour is a lovely olive green colour. Now you want to place the whole of the feather in to really coat it. The longer you leave it in, the stronger the colour, and just be warned, the colour will lighten when you rinse it. Once you have got your desired shade in this, you want to remove the feather from the dye and then transport it to your next shade. Now mine is a purple colour, and it should be quite a vibrant one if you leave it in long enough, and all you need to do is dip the ends of the macrame feather into this dye, leaving that middle stalk to be green. This should give it a really nice ombre look, going from green to a purple hue. So keep dipping it in until you get the shade you desire. Then it's time to dip in the final dye, and I have gone for a really nice navy blue colour here. Now all you want to do is dip the tips of the end of the feather into this, because that will then give it that really nice graduated from purple to blue look. Now I have gone in this order because you always want to start with the lightest colour first, graduate into the darkest, because if you put the dark colour on first, you are never going to see that shade of the light colour. It's just how it works. So always go from light to dark. And once you have your desired shade of the final colour, you then want to rinse your macrame feathers according to your dye instructions, leaving them to dry. Once they are dry, give them a quick fluff up with them combs, and your macrame feathers are ready to hang wherever you like in your home decor. So they have how to make your own DIY macrame feathers using a dip dye technique to give them a bit of colour. Now I think these have turned out beautifully. I really like how they fit in with my decor behind me. The dyes that I chose really did fit in with the colours that I already had going, and I really like that ombre fade look that I have got going on to them. Now I would have liked to see a bit more of that purple coming through, but that's just my dip dyeing technique that maybe didn't fully enhance the purple, but I still think it's turned out fabulous and it really does go with my decor. Now you can use any other colour that you like to fit in with your decor, obviously, and if you didn't want the ombre look like this, you could actually get a really nice dramatic look by keeping most of the macrame cream, dip dyeing the ends to get that really nice pop of colour at the end. And if you didn't want to try the dip dyeing technique because maybe you don't want to have a go at all the dyeing and all the mess, then you can actually buy coloured macrame cord and get a similar effect. You won't get that dip dye ombre look, but you can really get nice shades to match each other. You can have lots of multicoloured ones, maybe make a rainbow one, it'd be beautiful. So if you've liked this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and let me know what you think in them comments below of this project and what colours you would go for if you're going to make these macrame feathers. I would love to know, so put it in them comments. And if you're not already subscribed, please do consider clicking that subscribe button to keep up with more of my crafting antics, because there's a new video every Sunday and it is mainly lots of different crafted DIY projects, ranging from these DIY macrame feathers to a bit of beauty DIY to maybe some sewing projects, anything a bit creative, and then a little sprinkling of travel when we can travel round and about. So hit that subscribe button if it sounds like something you would like to keep up with. And don't forget to check out my blog, Ames's Antics. It is linked below because there's always a ton of information over there. And there's a post for every video that I put onto the channel. So be sure to check that out as well. And with that said, I will see you in next week's video. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and week. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.